Hello world, welcome to the 204th video on my channel where I'm building my own digital assistant named Shane, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies and comics. Please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment telling me what your favorite mutual fund is. This is the third video where I'm building my own dividend tracker, where I don't have to rely on a third-party app and me uploading or giving access to a third party, my brokerage account. So in the first video, we used a Python library called Yahoo Fin, which is different than the ubiquitous Y Finance, just because Y Finance has been experiencing a bunch of problems. You can watch the video here. But what we did was we got the current value of all of our investments, and we got that from Excel, and then we got the estimated dividend and timed it by a share count, and in that video we just assumed one share, and we were able to do that to get our whole annual dividend estimate for everything except for mutual funds. In the second video, which you can watch here, we still didn't solve the mutual fund problem, but we were able to extrapolate the annual dividend information by month. And then I just use matplotlib to chart it out, but that's not what I'm going to use for my final product. But it was just a way to show how much dividends you would get in each month. So in today's video, the third part of this series, we'll be getting the mutual fund information finally using the Vantage website. Now, we've used Vantage a long time ago. You can watch that video here. How to get the API key, and so that's what we'll be using to get the mutual fund dividend information. So now let's check out the code. So similar to the first dividend tracker, and so what we're going to do is we're going to separate it from the other project first and then go into the main project. So we're going to import requests. That's a standard library. You don't have to pip install that. Now from this, a lot of people on my YouTube channel get confused about this. Don't type this in, right? What you're going to want to do is maybe create a variable called Vantage API key equals, and then you copy and paste the long string that is the API key that you got from Vantage. Okay? Don't type in from keys import Vantage API key. The reason why I do this is because I keep all of my API keys in a file right here because I'm a YouTuber and I don't want you guys using up all my rate limit. So make sure you understand that. So these are 3 Fidelity mutual funds that I have right here. And so I put them in a list. We'll use this later, but I have an empty list called results. Now for each fund, so for each of this fund right here, we're going to create our URL that we'll use for requests. So right here, so the URL equals, this is a time series function, right? So we're going to get the daily time series. The symbol will be the fund, which is up here. So right now we're FCFTX. Plus, and this is just because I want you to see it without me scrolling it. So plus the API key, so and API key equals the Vantage API key, which is, like I explained, my API key. So let's check that out. All right, so what we're in the Vantage API documentation, and what we're doing is we're going to get a daily adjusted time series daily adjusted, right? So you can come down here, you can click anywhere in this documentation to get your own free API key, and then you can look at the different languages that we're doing. We're doing Python, so we already imported requests. This is the URL we're building. So the function equals time series, the symbol equals IBM, but in our case we're passing it the fund, right? That's this plus. And then the API key equals demo. And they're saying change that out with your API key. So that is what I did here. And then R equals request.get URL, which is this whole thing now, which has the fund name. Then we're going to store it in a JSON file. And then for the date and values in data, which is this JSON file, we're going to get the time series daily items. And which item are we going to get? The dividend amount equals a float, right? Because anytime you're in a JSON, it's a string. Values, and then we're going to get the dividend amount. And what this is going to do is check every single day to see if it paid out a dividend amount. So what you're going to have is a crap ton, especially as all three funds go through. You're going to have a crap ton of days where there was no dividends amounts. So we just want to find the ones that says if the dividend amount is greater than 0, so it paid a dividend, we're going to append those results, fund, date, and values. So I want the fund name, which for the first part will be this one, the date it paid out, and the values, which will be a float. So now we have all of these. It's going to go through here, this for loop. It's going to do this fund first, then this fund, then this fund, and it's going to append the fund, date, and values to this empty list called results. Now for each result in results, the symbol is going to be the first thing, right? That's the fund. The dividend amount is going to be the result. And the second part of the index, or the third value, so values equals dividend amount. And if the symbol, now this is hard coding. I'm not a big fan of hard coding, so I need to write maybe some logic in the future that can handle any dividend or any mutual fund. But for now, I know the mutual funds that I have, and I know the frequency that they pay out. So this one right here is a California municipal bond fund, which pays every single month. So we're going to take the dividend amount, and we're going to say the annual dividend equals a float of the dividend amount times 12. All right. And then if the symbol equals this one, the annual dividend, it only pays once a year. And as I say that, it just paid out a second dividend of a very small amount. I don't know what that is, but it's just rounding for me. So the annual dividend is just the dividend amount. It only pays once a year. And else, so in my case, I only have 3 mutual funds. But if I had 4, I would have another LF. So LF, the annual dividend, is the dividend amount times 4. So this one, which is an S&P 500 index fund, this pays out 4 times a year. And so that's our dividend fund. So let's look at what that is. So we're going to print for each result. We're going to print the symbol and then a string version of the new annual dividend amount. So let's check that out now. So it's going to go through all 3 funds. And what we have, I should have rounded that, but this one is going to pay out 12 times, and it's going to pay me $3.30 per share of this mutual fund. This one is going to pay $1.54. This one is $2.15. And what I should have done is press break here, because it found 2 dividend amounts. And I don't need that. I just needed the one annual dividend. So each one, I should have a break here. So it only did it once. So that is how you get the annual dividend amount for mutual funds. So when we go to our dividend tracker, this is the full code I went through in the first video. What happened was we would go down here and we would say, hold on. We would go down and we would iterate through our rows. So let's check that out. We would iterate through our rows. So it would go through Apple and then this one. And then we would get an error on the mutual fund, and we said, just pass it. So we would get a key error that said there is no annual dividend in our get dividend function, and I would get a key error. So now instead of saying just pass, now we pass it to a new function. So the annual dividend equals the mutual fund checker, and we'll pass it the symbol. So what is that? What is the mutual fund checker? The mutual fund checker is just the same thing we went over now. So here's the mutual fund checker, the results, the URL, everything's the same here. But this time we're returning the annual dividend. And since since this one right here only shows up once in my Excel, then we don't have to worry about this duplicating. And then this is for testing purposes. If I get a key error in this mutual fund checker, it will let me know. If I get a type error, which means that it can't find that symbol, I will print that out. But either way, we'll just pass on both. And then same thing with the previous thing. We're going to add it to a column called annual dividend, and we're going to times it by the share count. In this case, the share count is 1. And then if we get a type error again, then we're going to print statement so I can see which one is causing it, and then just pass on it. And then these type error and value error, we went through this last time. So now that we have that all done, let's check out what our new data frame looks like. And let me make sure I'm showing you the right thing. So share held, I'm not going to show you my real portfolio. So run dividend tracker. And this might take a little bit, so I will cut to the final product. All right, so it's done running. So now what we have is that problem with symbol GLD. That is a gold stock. It follows gold closely. And so now what we have, this is a combination of all 4 videos. And so we have Apple. We have 1 share of it. The current value today was $166.47. And we're going to get paid 92 cents annually on that. So you can follow all of these stocks. And now this FCTFX has 1 share, $12.16 was the current value, and we're going to get 11 cents from it all year long. So $1.54, $2.15 for these 2 mutual funds. Gold has not a number. That's what that means, because there's no dividend. Lumen Technologies has suspended its dividend for now, so that says not a number. And then the rest of these are filled in right here. So my total estimated portfolio value is $5,867, assuming I had only 1 share of all of these. My total estimated annual dividends is $40.89, assuming I had 1 share, which I have more than 1 share. And so I'm really happy about this. So what's the future look like for this project? So the next project is to, again, assign it to the different months, and then is to play with dates and get the next annual dividend. And my goal is to create a splash page every morning when I walk in where it shows my dividend and portfolio information, and underneath that, or a link to, my goal is to have my own financial report where I search through all the news sources of the local cities I live in and just gives me all the economic articles. And so if you're interested in that, you can watch that Drudge Report clone, is what I'm calling it, by clicking here. And that's all I have. So I hope this helps you. I hope you're building your own dividend tracker and not paying somebody else to have all your information. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.